Hello and welcome to this webinar. This is MagiCAD for Revit. This is the webinar on MagiCreate, which is the tool which we provide with our software to enable users to create content with data-rich technical information included in that content and the MEP products that we provide. So, this is a Revit project that we have existing here. Already in the project there's obviously products and families that have been brought in through MagiCAD already. These have been brought in through the normal product browser, the online database. But I'm going to show today how we bring content in from MagiCreate and obviously how that is created in the first place in the software. So MagiCreate is provided with MagiCAD. It's included. There's no extra cost. It's not a it's not additional standalone item. You do download it separately, but it interfaces with MagiCAD for Revit. And once you install MagiCreate, you're presented with this opening screen here, and you can create a new database, open an existing one, or open a recent one. So I'm just going to go into this recent one that I've created before. So I'm just going to click on this. And you can see here that we have an opening screen which shows the information regarding the various categories that you can choose for the products, which is ventilation, piping, electrical, and comms and data. So you got to decide now which type of product you wish to create. So I could just go, say, for piping, and then go into heaters and then radiators. And you'll see here that we've got some existing radiator in here, just a sort of very basic looking radiator block, and I've called it this name here is Robrad Type A, and you can see here that you've got some dimensional data associated with that. But crucially now, what you can do is instead of being in Revit and starting from scratch with two reference planes in the family creator editor in Revit and spending hours and hours and hours creating parametric extrusions and geometry to represent the information, what we can use is these generic models that are based in MagiCreate for each type of product. And then when you go into the geometry creation data here, for example, with radiators, you can choose like a range between 400, 1100 long, 300, 600 high, and in steps of 100 millimeters. And what you can see there, it creates the range of those radiators according to those criteria. So effectively what you're doing is creating a whole bunch of family types based on that criteria, which is obviously all parametric. So you can do that in a matter of seconds in here. So you know, what's taking you hours of work in traditional Revit creation, you can do in seconds in here. And then the very, very important point when it comes to design is that if you click on technical data, we can now calculate volumes of radiators, for instance, and you can calculate thermal output in accordance with BS EN 442, which is the standard that radiator manufacturers conform to in the EU. So you put your constants in there, or your coefficients, and then all of your radiators that you've created will then have heat output curves, which is something that isn't achievable really easily, I would say, in normal Revit families, because these outputs would be something that you enter manually by the user, but this is obviously automatically creating an output curve based on a European standard which we use in the UK. So instantly it saves you a whole load of time in creating the actual geometry and the variants and the family types, and allowing you to put the technical data in. So here's one obvious clear advantage to using this MagiCreate tool to create your content. And just finally on this, if you want to change the convention of the variant names, you can just change it in here and add and delete fields, and you can update how that is created. So it's quite straightforward really, but obviously very powerful, as I just demonstrated. One other thing I want to show maybe is something simple like air terminals. So here's one. You click on that variant, you can choose various dimensional settings in here, so you can change like the box width to 500, you can see it expand slightly, change the diameter of the connector, the duct spigot to 350 in there, sorry, in this one here, you can see there it expands. So you can see you can just edit your geometry data as you would wish for each product here, and you can click on the next variant. If you want to save the changes, press OK, and there's the next variant in there. So it's quite straightforward how that's achieved. You can see there that it's just a sort of generic type grill with a plenum and a side spigot. If you're wondering how these are created, you just go to Create New, click Create Product, and it will browse onto the web, and then you're given like a bunch of different types of grill. It's only generic stuff, obviously it's not manufacturer. The whole point is this is user defined, and you find your type of grill that you wish to create. You've got all different types of ceiling diffusers, plenums, you can see there, circular diffusers. So you've got a whole host of grill types, rectangular diffuser with a spigot on the back. So all you do is choose the one that you want, press OK, and you can choose how many sort of variants are created in the default, press OK, and then it creates there. And you can choose the family name in there, so this could be just louver faced and then circ spigot, something like that. And then you can see there it changes the family name, then you press save, yes, and then in here you can change all your family types if you really wanted to as well, the names. But you can see here exactly the same process. All I've done is just brought this in. There's the circular spigot on the back. You want to change any of the geometry data in there, you can. But just like the radiators, we now have technical data, but it's obviously completely different because it's grills. You can choose your pressure drop curve graph there, plus all your sound output data as well. You can even sort of click on the graph and you can see how that varies with flow rate, which is very handy, so like a dynamic output there. And then you can see how you got your pressure drop equation in there. You've got your sound generation curves in there, so you can put the whole sound spectrum in. So you've got total control over how your grill is performing with pressure and noise data. So once you set all that up, once that's brought into the project, then obviously your calculations are in line with any of the other MagiCAD type calculations, where you've got the ability to use dynamic calculation parameters for components, whether it's from manufacturers, from generic, or of course your own MagiCreate type components. So I hope that's clear as to what we're trying to achieve there. Into electrical, again, you can choose sockets, you can choose, there's a double socket there, you want to change the width to 140, do that, you can see it updates automatically. So switches, again, you can choose whether it's a light switch or a rotary isolator or whatever it is like this, you can update it, but you're getting the point now, I think, where the powerful bit is that you're not going into Revit and having to create all these extrusions from scratch and all these geometry and parametric drivers and all the family types. It's all automated, ready set up. So for the bulk of your content, it can be really achieved in MagiCreate, and you can create your own sort of library of database of components and products and put it onto your server so the whole company can access that. And you can just build that library up over time. So one important thing as well with this is in Revit you get options to categorize things in different ways. There's always some debate over, say, switches, whether it's a lighting switch, whether it's a electrical equipment, could be electrical fixture. You know, some people have different ideas about that. With MagiCreate, it addresses that issue because you can actually choose which Revit category you wish this to be under before you even load it into the project. So you could have a rotary switch like this under a electrical fixture, and you can have another one under electrical equipment, and choose which one ever you want as you bring it in, depending on the user. So again, it's just giving you more and more options there to how you want to use the content. So as I said before, this is all being saved into a database. You can see there it's called Demo QPD Database. It's a single database holding all the content. So instead of having like traditional Revit content where you'd have like a massive Windows folder holding like thousands of RFAs with all just the name as an indicator of what it is, with this you just have one database, a single database, which you can all point to on a server, all the users in a company, build it up as you wish, and all the content can be analyzed and reviewed using MagiCreate in this one large single database. And then from this point, it's a matter of how to bring it into a live project. How do we use this? So all you do is we go back into Revit and then use the MagiCAD install product function as normal. But this time, what is subtly different than maybe you're used to, if you go to New Radiator, for instance, go to Product Browser, press Select. Normally it goes to the cloud, and you'll see the cloud manufacturers normally appear in there. If we go to Settings and go to Local, and we path the database to the local location here, which is defined in this box. If you now go to Browse, you'll see it's the Demo QPD database, which is the one I described earlier. And here's my radiators. So there's my RAD type A with all my different 30, 40, 50, 60, all my lengths defined in there, and all the technical data in there, all the geometry data there as well. So press Select, and then I'm just going to put RAD A in there, and then just press OK. You can obviously choose your family name as normal as well. Press OK, and then that appears in here now as a radiator, and just choose my VT system that I want to put it on. And then you can see you've got your target power, and again, just like normal in MagiCAD, you can choose your sizes and it'll give you your outputs, or you could use the selection size tool like that. It doesn't matter. And then you can choose your connection size, whether it's hosted or not, and then once you're happy with it, you just press OK, and it just creates the family just like any other MagiCAD for Revit product. It will create the family on demand, bring it into the project, and then you're free to just place this object wherever you want, which can just dump it in this room here. Again, you can still choose, like any MagiCAD function on radiators, you can choose the inlet, outlet positions like that. You can select the valves should you wish to as well. You want to include those in the project, and then once you're happy with it, you just press OK, and then it's done. And then there's the radiator that we had selected from MagiCreate. Click on Properties. You can see there there's the radiator itself. There's some dimensions. There's the heat curve output, which for this particular radiator we defined previously in MagiCreate using the BS output standards. And then from here, if you want to, you can just start drawing straight out, just to demonstrate that it is just a live Revit family like anything else. And there's the flow and return, and just to show you how it works, just click Calculate, and then obviously it's extremely basic, but you can see the calculation working instantly in there, so you can see how quick and easy it is to create your own content and start designing straight in there with radiators. Same goes with ventilation products. I created a grill before, so I'll just click on ventilation, supply grill, go to New, and then Product Browser, QPD database, and there's my grill from before. Press OK, and then I'll just call it Grill A, give it a symbol for the arrow, press OK, And there it is, and again you can just choose there's a technical data there, you can put the flow rate in, you can click on the graph. It's all just like any other MagiCAD component. Press OK, creates the family just like the radiator, and loads into the projects, and you can just place that straight in just like any other MagiCAD product, and just dump that into the project there. Press OK, and there we go. There's the grill already in there. Click on properties and you can see there's the technical data associated with that particular grill. So as you can see, very, very easy to use, very, very powerful for design, especially companies that like to use their own generic content. It will save you an absolute stack of time and enable all the calculation functions and design functions to be exploited to their maximum. And I'll just very quickly show the electrical side, install product, and then go to electrical. We got a switch before, and then I'll just go to new and choose a switch from here, and there's a changeover switch we did before. So let's call it switch, give it a symbol, doesn't really matter what the symbol is. And you can choose all the data as normal. I'm not going to do it now in interest of time, but there's the switch, and then you can choose whether it's hosted or face-based. Press OK, and it creates the relevant electrical switch. And as I was mentioning before, MagiCreate will create the switch in the right category, obviously. So I'll just put that switch there. Press OK. And then if I click on the switch, you can now see it's an electrical fixture, which is as defined in MagiCreate. So the point being that you can choose many different types of category depending on different companies, and you can choose your family type in MagiCreate, as I said before, in here. So it's come through as electrical fixture. If you want electrical equipment, you change it and bring it in separately. So that was the tool MagiCreate. I hope that's been useful.